What up, my freaks? RuinousInsight here with part 40 of my Total Warhammer 3 modded Karl Franz campaign. So as we saw last time, Knud van Hesselt and his Knights Panther debuted at the Falls of Doom, and though it was not a difficult battle, it was nice to see the Knights Panther charge, and I do expect great things from the army. They are in the Darklands now and will have a lot of work cut out for them, and in fact will probably not be the only army we sent here, even if all this territory has to go to our allies. But as the shield of civilization, we should prop our allies up just as much as we strengthen the Empire itself, and it's not like at this point in the game we're out of places to expand, as we now have Nehekara and Araby, and we also have the jungles of Illustria. So, in terms of what we gotta do this turn, there really isn't much. I'm pretty sure we've moved pretty much everybody along. The only possible exception is whether we get another wizard or two anywhere right now. So Marcus has his light wizard and is waiting for another one of his hunters. We lack a wizard where? Let's see. So Gelty has one. He's about to attack Mer-middens, but let's just double check that there isn't anything else we need to do. We need to replace the fire wizard here in Kurt Haldenstrad's army with a light wizard, and Gavin's gonna back him up so he doesn't really need a wizard himself. The new armies, the Ulrich army, ooh, which wizard? All right, it's gonna have to be an amber wizard, yes. Do we have enough wizards for that? We have a monster tracker and a confident amber wizard. Okay, I don't particularly like either of those. What about the light ones currently? Aggressive and imperious. I also don't like either one of those. The cunning jade wizard isn't bad, and man, all the good wizards go to the frickin' fire wizards, which are pretty great, but yeah, we don't need any more fire wizards right now. All right, let's wait a few turns. Maybe we can mill through. It will be some time before we get the Blazing Sun / Fire army. Anyway, all right. Well, then I guess there isn't much else to do if we're not going to summon wizards, as long as we're not going to summon Imperial captains or anything like that. Well, no for warrior priests. I don't like any of these. Man, we keep getting monster hunter traits everywhere and monster tracker. How about better traits? And I don't like any of these either, and I'm not willing to spend money milling through them because we have a lot of stuff we have to invest in. Middenland has a ton of new buildings that must come up. Anyway, since we're about to attack, let us get points up and running. Imperial Gunnery for you and Gelty Boy. And then Warrior Priest, what do you have? Shield of Faith or Faith's Bastion? Gotta go with Shield of Faith for now. Next up, we have Empire Captain. You don't need training. You could hold on to the points to buff the infantry if you want, but I feel like we get hold the line first anyway. Then Aldebras, you, my friend, are gonna get, let's say, you already have hold the line, and you have Honest Steel. Do we want to swap out, not Wolfram Customer, but, oh right, Owen Dittison is a temporary lord because we don't like Regal, but we do want somebody to command the knights more. Well, we'll see about them. In the meantime, you, Aldebras, keep doing what you're doing here. I guess we'll just start making you a fighter. I guess we could go brass-lunged as well. Honestly, it probably doesn't matter all that much. Let's go brass-lunged for now. And then we'll go Deadly Blade as well. Next up, the two captains. A basic training. Ooh. That is actually a useful one, and disciplined. We could probably transfer these to a proper army. Aldebras was just a temp force.
Yes, my lord.
You guys all have cunning, but yeah, that's fine for Wolfram Custerman. Alright, fine, just keep doing what you're doing. We are not going to go for the cause yet, because I'm not 100% sure. Well, actually, you have basic training, so that's probably the best pick for you either way. Because you're going to be buffing... although if we, for example, put you into a army with a bunch of knights, we could have you lead them on the demigryphs. You know what? These guys are going to keep holding on to their points. I think we can find use for them. Anyway, Mer-middens, it's time. We have some defenders, but I don't think they can stand against artillery. Though that said, it'll be Gelty doing most of the work before our reinforcements arrive. Here we go. Gelty on the siege. I don't think he's done one yet, so it's about time he shows off what artillery firepower or focus can do. Alrighty, here we go again. Gelt's artillery is ready for action, and the enemy has a massive disadvantage, as obviously it not only does not have much in the way of artillery, a pair of mortars here, but also on top of that doesn't have towers on this portion of the settlement. The enemy artillery are going to be our main focus here, so our mortar war wagons are going to target this unit of mortars here. And there we go, and they can't get away, so they're completely screwed. And at the same time, Gelt is going to drop a Searing Doom down on the other mortar, and then going to drop down on them himself so that they cannot menace our forces. Would have been nice for him to have his Pegasus Knights, which we will be building later, as he would be able to make quick work of these mortars, but yeah, it's definitely something that we'll need to add. Otherwise, it's just going to be some time while we bombard the walls. The cannon are focusing the gate because obviously they can't do very much to the units on top of the wall. Though generally speaking, if you... I feel like there's several versions of this map, or actually there's different terrain for this map unless I'm mistaken, with the same set of walls, because I remember there being a much bigger hill here where you could deploy a bunch of units, and even units like Giselles. I'm just remembering from my Ikat campaign, units of just like Giselles and even handgunners and stuff can fire down from the hill on top of the walls. It's quite a bad position for the enemy to be in. We don't have that here, however, though Gelt's army does not currently have handgunners, so it's not a big deal. But at the very least, the cannons could then work on the enemy units on top of the walls. Anyway, we're going to move in to help Gelt out a little bit as soon as our reinforcements arrive. So Aldebras is a flyer, and so is his Empire captain. And Gelt's just moving around annoying those enemy mortars, but it looks like they are starting to fire once again, though probably wasting their time attacking our own mortars' war wagons. Yeah, so they're obviously not going to do any damage if they even manage to hit them. Also looks like the first of the enemy mortar war wagons have been destroyed. What the heck is that noise? Huh, I just heard a weird noise, but I don't know whether it was from the game or not. Odd. Well, whatever. Hopefully not super important. I'm just going mad here. Gelt is going to go after the tower here, and he's going to take some time to work through it, but he's going to get help shortly anyway, and he's just kind of flying around, and I can't actually tell whether he's doing any damage to it. Huh. What are you doing, Gelt? Alright, well, maybe I'm not the only one going mad. He's just going to give up on that instead, I guess. I got annoyed at the fact that he wasn't attacking, and he can take out some crossbows. They're not a big threat to him. Nice hit with that sword there, took one of their heads off, and there you go. In the meantime, how's that enemy wall looking? The gate is broken, the first of the walls are breached, and the second one should be down shortly. I like how the portcullises are kind of like hanging slanted after the gate gets destroyed. Kind of neat. Hadn't actually noticed that before, and let's see. Soon the second piece of wall will be down, and then we're going to move in the rest of our forces. Until then, it's just trying to annoy the enemy as best we can with our little command squad here. Although now that Gelt has help, he should be a lot more safe at doing whatever it is that he is doing. Looks like there's another unit of crossbows. This is the one that Gelt was attacking earlier, and there we go. I'm gonna jump down on them and kill them, or at least prevent them from joining the rest of the army. Nothing really else to watch while we do this other than the bombardment, and we've seen it quite a few times already. Helm of Discord coming in on the crossbows and corroded armor as well. Probably don't need to really be debuffing a weak unit like this, but just to make them die a little bit faster. I don't imagine we're going to suffer too much in the way of losses here. I like the full plate of Aldebras though. It looks pretty nice. All right, how are we doing back here? The walls are... Yes, they are properly breached, which means the rest of our army is finally ready to move in and help out, though it looks like a lot of the enemy troops are already in pretty bad shape. And oh, the mortars actually come back, so once we're done with these crossbows, we're going to have to deal with the mortar as well. And you're just going to move there in a second. And the Hellstorms can still fire. Wow, it looks like a couple of the rockets went through the walls there. And I see the mortars are firing back on our own units, but it's the summoned handgunners which moved in front of everybody that that went this way, so it doesn't matter. And yeah, these crossbows are gonna hide. We could drop some mortars upon them, but frankly, the mortars are also doing other things. Gelt and Co. are also now moving in to attack some handgunners here, as well as the enemy mortars. One of them distracts the handgunners while the others kill the mortars to stop them attacking our main force. There's the crackling lightning around Aldebras there. What's that from? Is it, huh. Wait, is it just an effect that he has? Because he doesn't have any auras or anything on him. I wonder why. I didn't notice that. I'm going to take a look at another Lord. What about our Empire Captains? Yeah, they also have the lightning. Maybe it's a an effect that the Pegasi have in general. Anyway, we continue. And are now moving into the main enemy settlement. Gotta watch out for those Hellstorms killing off our own units. And we're going to retarget them shortly at somebody who's far enough away so that we don't have to worry about that while we stream into the city. Pile of enemy units all the way back here, including a set of Empire Knights, but they're hardly threatening to the massive number of units that we have with 2 armies available. Enemy wizards. Oh, okay, wait. This. It's always confusing fighting your own faction because you're more used to your own units yelling that sort of thing. Anyway, the Hellstorms have retargeted and are going to go after some great swords and halberdiers back here who are getting absolutely wrecked. And this is the last of the Border Princes. There we go. Well done to the Hellstorms. You can't dodge it when there's 3 of them firing at you at the same time. And it's pretty difficult to dodge Hellstorms in general because they're so inaccurate that they just saturate the area with rockets. Alrighty, and we are finally streaming into the city. The other 3, the other Command Squad, Command Squad 2, Command Squad B, I don't know, have moved in to help out. They're the ones that can't fly. But they should be just fine enough to attack some Empire Knights and knock them out. We are also filling the gap in the walls with a bunch of spearmen, so these knights are in a pretty bad position. More spears are streaming into the city, though we no longer have or need artillery support on these units. Mostly because we probably damage our own units more than the enemy, and the enemy lord has also finally shown himself as well, or the enemy general. How's the first command squad doing? Looks like they managed to silence the mortar and a unit of crossbows and that unit of great swords as well, which we were fighting. But it does look like the great swords did damage Gelt a little bit. Hardly surprising, I should say, but yeah, we do need to be careful with him. And Gelt is going to move back in and drop a Searing Doom on this pile of knights here. Not going to be a crazy amount of damage, but a decent amount of their models actually do get destroyed, and actually the knights will rout with that, and with the routing of the knights, it looks like the enemy is no longer willing to fight whatsoever. The general books it out of there, and our units follow suit. Lovely. Easy little fight, but that's the end of the Border Princes, and it was necessary to do, and now we can start taking all of this extra territory without having to worry about them at our backs. Alrighty, easy enough. Pretty minimal losses, though. Gelt is showing the lack of the regeneration or healing of any kind and the danger that it can pose to him. Gotta be a little bit more careful with him, I think. Rather than sending him into direct melee combat, that's what his minions are for. Anyway, certainly a showcase of why it's great to have one of these little backup armies, as we don't have to commit our main force's troops until we need to. We're obviously going to occupy the place, and I believe we had a quest for it as well. Scroll of Power, enemy killed in battle, faction destroyed, Emperor's lands returned, I guess. Mer-middens Caesaris, a little bit of extra money, and what do we have here? We are still missing our Gallus, but we'll take it next turn. We have a... we don't need stables here. We do need the Tailor's Guild. And everything else can stay. We also have pottery out of here, which I think our only other pottery location is... Wait, Altdorf is the only one. I was thinking Kurun, but we don't have Kurun, so yeah, that's about it. Alrighty, lovely. Now, I believe that's that for this turn, and we did get a little bit more money, but once again, we do need a lot of cash over the next turn or two, so we'll just hold on to what we have. Let us also put you into an camp stance, just to heal up a little bit more, not that I think you really need it. Although, wait. Can you start moving here? Wait. Where does our territory end? This is all our Galas, eh? Wait. Oh, you can't cross here. Yeah, just do this. It'll mean less healing, but frankly, we don't really care about you. Hopefully there isn't a full stack, like, waiting right there, but if there is, once again, not only do we not care about you, but I'm sure your army would be fine, even if there was. Alrighty, now, tech, back to research, which means, where is it? Utilize wizard apprentices. Hey, I said it right that time. And we're good. Skip, a building upgrade available, skip, commandment available, not skip. Xerakzil is a new pickup, but we don't really need the rally field here, and frankly we don't really need it at Karakazor either, but we'll get rid of it later, probably in place of a wizard conclave. You can have... probably still cancel a Burgomeisters. We are building up a lot of stuff in this province after all. Alrighty, and before we end the turn, just to double check here. Karakazul we're okay with. Avalorn is nearly ready for that non-aggression pact, although they're taking their time. Eastern River Lords. Allies with the Jiangxi Rebels. I wonder if anybody would hate us for doing this. You know what? No, let's hold on to this for now. There's a few other factions that we may want to trade with. And yeah, Avalorn definitely. We'll probably get a lot more money out of them than we will out of the Eastern River Lords. Let's wait a turn or so, and then maybe we'll get trades going with them instead. Defenders of the Great Plan nearly ready for a defensive alliance, although they're kind of in trouble. Down to 3 settlements and no armies by the looks of it. Blessed Dread are ripping them apart. Man, I've certainly been noticing that in SFO, the Blessed Dreads seem to do very well every time I see them. Which is completely different from vanilla, where the Blessed Dreads seem to just get destroyed constantly. Kind of an interesting change in the power dynamics there. Anyway, what do we have here? Northern provinces are nearly ready for a non-aggression pact. Kurun at 10.
Let the supplicant come forward.
Still not ready to... oh wait, not join war. Trade settlement, still not ready to trade as Grungzent, are ya? Minus 12, it's not so bad. There was a suggestion that we trade one of the forts for Grungs, and I'm not 100% sure whether that's worth it at the time or not. They do have a purpose, and that purpose is to keep State Troop Levy up and running. Upkeep 1% reduction for basically all of our State Troop units, which we do use a lot, and I do like that they're quite cheap. Every single fort does 1%. 3% isn't too bad, plus all the other State Troop levies we have elsewhere, and we will probably continue using similar sort of commandments from forests and other such single area locations, so it adds up. I don't know, I'll think about it. If we peace out with the faction, we may be able to still get it to happen. Outpost upgrade available, there's only a couple I care about. Yours not so much. I just want to double check that we did the Karazakarak one, because there are dwarfen units that we want. Okay, yes, we did the Karazakarak one, and we have both of the Cathan ones, right? The important ones. Cathay, Dwarfs, and Kislev. Ooh, Kislev needs an upgrade. Alright, fine, let's get the Kislev upgraded. Ugh, the expense. The terrible expense. We did get some through battle, so now it's fine. Now, is there anywhere we can get attacked? Maybe, possibly, but I'm too lazy to look for it, so let's skip. So... I had completely forgotten that we're sieging the Pools of Despair. Alright, well, we can't end the turn now. I was just thinking, do we move Luther Grobber up here to deal with this? No, I think we fight. Alright, Volkmar, this is actually going to be a toughie, and especially compared to the last battle. That's a lot of dwarfs. Granted, they lack in the way of artillery, but it's still going to take some time to bring them down. Alrighty, and we don't have a mage either, unfortunately. We still need to get one down here, but it's going to take a while before we build the building, and it will take too long to travel by sea. So, alrighty, let's do this as well. I completely forgot that I siege these guys, but the less I think about the Greybeards prospectors, the better. Alrighty, and what shall be is the destruction of the Greybeards prospectors. This is why Volkmar the Grim is here. You thought he was here because he wanted to burn out the undead around the Pyramid of Nagash or something. I don't remember what the justification is that the game gives for him to be down here rather than in the Empire, which is where he should be, but that's fine. This is his real reason anyway. He has to destroy the Greybeards prospectors, and he is beginning to do so with gusto as his artillery start obliterating their main lines, and obviously focusing down the Quarrelers as best they can, as they're the major threat here. In addition to that, both of our units of cannons have been trying to fire on the enemy Grudge Thrower, and are getting pretty mixed results. Their accuracy is so low that, yeah. Man cannons, come on. I definitely feel like I've used carronades to snipe enemy artillery before, but while the great cannons aren't doing such a great job at it so far. In fact, considering their accuracy and the fact that they're failing to kill enemy models as well. I've also seen warp lightning cannons knock out enemy artillery pieces fairly decently. Cannons might be one of the... there we go. Nope, not destroyed though. Definitely might be one of the poorer units for artillery pieces to knock these guys out. That's a minute and a half of straight fire from 2 full sets of hell cannons, or hell cannons, regular cannons. That's 34 kills on the Grudge Throwers and 10k damage that they've gotten in the meantime, having the HP of our greatswords, while our cannons have achieved basically nothing. 700 damage and... Wait, okay, that was Free Company Militia. I thought I saw 0 damage on one of our cannons there. 600 yeah, they're both about the same. 6 kills and 700 damage and not a single artillery piece knocked out. Okay, well, it's clearly pretty pointless to use the cannons in that way, so we're gonna tell one of our Hellstorm rocket batteries to destroy the enemy artillery piece instead. And after a few volleys, the Grudge Thrower has already taken more damage than it has from 2 minutes of fire from the cannons. There we go, Grudge Throwers are in pretty bad shape now, and a couple more volleys will see them off. I should have just started with that rather than trusting the cannon. I just felt that, well, the cannons needed something to do, and they're not that great at attacking infantry either. I mean, obviously in this army, and probably most of our armies, we're going to replace cannon with Hell Blaster volley guns anyway. But obviously being a tier 5 artillery piece, we don't have access to it yet. I mean, we'll keep a few cannons in a few places just because I feel like they do fit the theme of the Empire quite nicely. And I do like watching them work, even if it isn't super effective. But anyway, let's see how the enemy army is faring. Looks like they're pretty badly beat up already, having lost about 150 troops, but even more HP. So the troop count is a little bit deceptive. More importantly, the Grudge Throwers will throw their grudges around no longer. And we are going to continue annoying the enemy army until they are ready to move towards us. You'd think once their artillery piece was gone, they'd stop sitting there and taking shots to the face. But hey, that's Greybeards prospectors for you. They're not known for their smarts. Or their beards. You heard me. Alrighty, well, looks like that comment finally got them annoyed enough for them to start moving towards our army. The bombardment will continue until morale improves, and morale will improve once every Greybeards prospector is dead. The enemy is going to take some time to get here, but the focus now has to switch a little bit. So obviously our demigryphs are moving out into the sides, and you have 3 enemy units that are extremely threatening, namely miners with blasting charges. So what we have to do is keep our infantry away from them until the demigryphs can charge them and then stop them from doing anything or getting their charges in, or blasting charges rather. Alrighty, and Volkmar moves in and casts Banishment, the Vortex spell, upon the enemy here. Probably not going to do anything crazy in terms of damage, but it does look like it moved through a decent blob of enemies. Probably could have actually combined that with the with some artillery fire. There we go, some mortars actually coming in. Probably could have switched one of our units of Hellblasters to it, but it's okay. For those watching my Ikit Claw campaign, the combination of the Brass Orb Vortex plus Warp Lightning dropped on top of enemies has killed many units throughout the campaign, so I think something similar would be reasonably effective here. Looks like Volkmar's gonna start taking a little bit of damage from the enemy Coilers, but honestly it's probably better that he's the one who's targeted, rather than our infantry, as he is just so incredibly tanky on that War Altar of Sigmar. Though you wouldn't think so, considering he's just sitting up here. Somebody could just, you know, thunk an arrow into his head and then... yeah. No, maybe the Jade Griffin would protect him. Anyway, he's now annoyed at getting hit and is going to charge down. Let's see. Not gonna get any air on those dwarfs and is gonna charge through that pile of units, and the greatsword will follow suit. Over in the background, we're actually backing off with our halberdiers and our Free Company militia from those miners with blasting charges, as our Demigryph knights both here and here head directly towards them. Same thing happening on both flanks. Our units back off and wait to charge the enemy blasting charges, while all of our artillery continues to fire. We do have a fairly decent position up on this hill as well. The dwarves have to pump those dwarven legs to make it up this increased elevation. Volkmar's gonna pop that Grand Soulfire and very heavily damage those units of dwarf warriors around him, basically breaking the unit. And he is now going to, I guess, go after the enemy lord. Alright, I want to see the Demigryph charges, which is why I keep pausing, or slowing it down rather, and waiting for them to charge in. There we go. Miners with blasting charges. Keep backing off, infantry, until this is done. There we go. Unlike Volkmar, it seems we can get some air on the dwarfs via our Demigryphs, and while they hold those guys in place, here come the halberdiers and the Free Company militia. Lovely. Now we are no longer afraid of those blasting charges. Same exact thing is happening on this side, but it looks like the blasting charges did get one quick volley off, or possibly a partial volley, as the unit didn't take all that much damage. And there we go. 2 units of blasting charges out, and there is a third one all the way down here, but the Demigryphs will immediately retarget and go towards the next unit as well. The regular dwarf warriors and even the Quarlers aren't nearly as threatening as these guys, which can delete units just so incredibly quickly. Alright, beautiful. And that's the third and last unit of the blasting charges. And the enemy army is in pretty bad shape. They're at, let's say we're at about 80% in our favor in terms of the balance of power. The enemy lord is starting to take damage as well, and Volkmar moving back into the fray. It does look like our great swords are out, however, broken, and they still have 60 units remaining, so they will heal up fairly nicely. Volkmar does need to be careful himself, as he has taken sufficient damage from the Quarlers now, and that he's at half HP, and while he will heal up, we may want to avoid additional fire. That said, with the miners with blasting charges and the enemy flanks collapsing, as we can see, our Free Company are moving into the sort of middle of the enemy army so that they can fire into the backs and sides of all the units that they can reach. Otherwise, the battle should be over shortly, and the Quarlers have been pretty much destroyed at this point by our artillery pieces, and our Demigryphs are running around in the background and causing absolute havoc. And hey, look, even the cannons are getting a few shots in there. Good job, cannons. You did something. Alright, Free Company just have to stand here. Yeah, we could charge them into melee and make use of their melee attacks, but we do have the buffed up Volkmar's bullets on them. I forgot what they're called. And there we go, just like that, the Greybeards Prospectors do rout. I was a little bit tempted, I admit, to just chase them down and kill them to a dwarf, even though we didn't need to, but it's better that we just forget about them. Plus, there will be more Greybeards Prospectors to destroy, as they do still hold, I want to say, 3 settlements, maybe 4, and depending on if they hold the, I think they hold 3, we'll see in a second. There we go. There's nothing I love more than the sound of the Greybeards prospectors being ripped to shreds. And I think that was Volkmar's proper debut. The last debut battle was just because we wanted to see him. And this one actually took some effort. Well, maybe not a lot of effort, but a little bit. Looks like, let's see the damage. The Free Company militia did nothing crazy, but they also didn't get into melee combat, so they were just acting as support for the halberdiers, and the halberdiers will of course later on be replaced by Sigmarite disciples as soon as we can build them here. The demigriffs were fairly valuable, however, because they were able to stop 2 of the enemy units of miners with blasting charges from firing. The third one did get a volley off and thus did more damage than basically the entire enemy army. Well, other than the grudge thrower though, and damn, cannons are terrible at knocking out grudge throwers. They did much worse than mortars against enemy infantry, and they were unable to kill the grudge throwers. So cannons they seem kind of useless against the dwarfs unless you're facing off against gyrocopters. It's probably the only unit that they would be decent against. Maybe somebody like a Rune Lord on an Anvil of Doom or something, but otherwise there's really no reason to use them outside instead of Hellstorms or Hellblasters. Hellblasters can do what cannons can do, but can also do all the other things as well. Granted, they're a higher tier, but yeah, cannons have always had this issue. And it's not like we're facing off against cavalry that we can fire upon in the Greybeards Prospectors or Trolls or anything like that, but, you know, in different factions and all that. Occupy the place, please. Got ourselves a pit fighter, probably a level up as well. And Volkmar should be pretty much at full health next turn. Now, I do wonder if he can reach the Great Desert of Araby in one turn if he march stances over there. It would be nice if he could. Also, just while we're here, is there anything that we need to put into Volkmar's army that's from our allies? Damn, Krazakarak, you still don't have any fire stuff. Flame cannons or iron drakes, come on, we need that for our Knights of the Blazing Sun army. Talzin and Arguilon, we did upgrade the thing to get Way Watchers for, yes we did. For Peter, so that's happening, but it's gonna probably take a while. Some Lizardmen units would also be nice. But yeah, what I was considering was whether there's anything that we want to put into Volkmar's force, other than Free Company and other than Sigmarite Disciples and Artillery. And that would be from his allies. Anything that would work with him thematically, basically. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll take a look at some Cathay and stuff, but we don't have access to it yet, so at least not for now, but soon. Alrighty, and now I believe we can end the turn. That took a little bit longer than I was originally expecting, but that was because of all the sieges. Alright, skip unassigned skill points, skip, we can do that later. Outpost available, I think... Whose outpost is available? Nah, whatever. Damaged building. Oh, it's the Pillars of the Unseen Constellation. I keep forgetting that it hasn't fallen yet. It's about time that it did. Also, Volkmar, I just realized, you don't have any patrol captains, and we have none free at the time. Alright, well, we're gonna have to get you some more. Damn, alright, I guess we're gonna need more prestige. Always running out of prestige to give patrol captains, but you can certainly use a halberdier and a handgunner one. Yeah, most definitely. The handgunners will buff the Free Company militia further, as in the patrol captain will buff them further. But anyway, for now, unless there is something here, there is not. Get pistol core. Good. And on the turn. Alrighty, there's a bunch of buildings. Ooh, hello, what do we have here? Follower gain. +1 recruit rank for crossbows and spears. We are not super likely to be recruiting either one of those, at least not at the current time. I also notice Hexoatl either didn't attack us, or maybe they are sieging, but it didn't have the event message out here. They should be sieging Walatal. At least they were near it. I suppose they could be fighting somebody else, but I think we checked and they weren't fighting Rakarth, right? Or was it Bordelot that wasn't fighting Rakarth? What do we have here? Thief Snatchers are attacking Krazakarak, sure. That's not gonna change much. Alrighty, and there we go. What do we have here? Ah, finally. Fealty increase. We can join the defense and lose money or prestige. Gonna go with money, because we need the prestige. And we'll get some money back by fighting the Beastmen. So send a military force. Let's get more fealty with Averland. We'll... Yeah, this is not worth fighting. And we'll get half the money back. That's fine. Worth the fealty, for sure. Estalian Industrial Goods. Settlement besieged. Ah, yes, okay, it was besieged. It just doesn't have the... notification. Sakink. And settlement besieged. Robbie Halfmast is going for Magritta. With an army. I take it our allies, nah, they're gonna destroy it for us. Either these guys attack and they all get destroyed because they can't win the siege, or Vilgin here and destroys it for us, so either way we're fine. Conrad Immelshielder, Warrior Priest, ready for duty. And, we got a Warrior Priest down here. Is it a good one, though? Kill the Heretics. When fighting against... No, it's not a good one. But it is a level 8 one. Kurt Lehman, Lord, ready for duty. Bern Hertvig, that's all fine. Alright, so... this is what we need to do. First of all, Karoberg, you have 12,000 gold worth of stuff at Middenheim, you have 6,000. Alright, well, expensive, but it all needs to be built. And we'll replace this with pastures eventually, but we need you and you. And then we might as well build the other stuff here. So, Weissman, you are going to get wood. We are going to get a paved road here. We are going to get... what do we need at Middenheim? It'll have to be the Chapel of Ulrich, because we need to be... recruiting Wolfkin ASAP, so 4 turns fairly soon. Ah, man, we need to upgrade you so we can actually build Knights of the White Wolf, though. Yeah, alright. Well, we'll need growth for that, and so to get the growth, we're going to start off by building a landed estate. Public order should be fixed by all these special buildings, right? Most of them give, massive amount of control, so we don't need to do anything about that. We will, I guess, keep for now the Council of Burgomeisters. It'll give us both growth and whatever else. Alrighty, Talabaim, you're up next. We need another road here, just keep buffing everybody around you. And your public order is pretty okay, Edgig is fine. Now, you know what, we might as well check whatever else needs to be built, probably starting with our weaker provinces or our newer provinces. Pools of Despair in El Calabad, yes. Well, let's get the Cinnabar Mining Pit here. We could take Xandri, but I feel like Volkmar should be working on these guys. Ooh, also, how far can you go in March stance? Not far enough to reach the Great Desert, alas. Alright, I imagine you can't actually reach it. You can. No, you cannot. Oh, alright, fine. And then we're gonna have to travel here. And you're gonna have to travel here as well. They're not gonna sally out. We're gonna allow these guys a turn to get Wit's units back up and running because we want to take out the Great Desert instead. It will mean attrition unless we travel as far as we can in non-march stance and in camp stance. And then march stance next turn, which should take us close enough, I think. Yeah, let's do that. Like so. We honestly don't really care if they take back the Pools of Despair. Well, let's upgrade El Calabad, but if they do, they do. We'd rather not have these ogres at our backs. We could take them out and then move to destroy the rest of the Greybeards prospectors, delay gratification, and enjoy killing them as long as we can. It looks like Alaric and the last remnants of the of Belagar's faction are moving up to fight Wolfram. We'll save that for next episode, as it might actually be a fight. Oh, and Ditizen. You're close to Miragliano. The question is, do we attack it? And the problem being that the Skaven will have basically 2 stacks that they can attack you with, though if you can avoid too much damage yourself, you could probably hold it. I say as I move him in. Alrighty, well, we're gonna have to do this at the next episode as well, so that's a siege. Actually, we have multiple sieges that we'll have to do next episode. That one and the siege at the Saber Mountain, yes? Which is now tier 5. Yeah, it's now tier 5, which means it'll be a nice take. Are you at war with anybody we like? You're at war with the Imperial Wardens and Goldtooth. I forget, do we hate Goldtooth or do we not care about him? He's a minus 61 and deteriorating because he doesn't like our treaties with all of these factions, but on the other hand, he's allied with the Cathians. Alright, well, if our allies want to all fight him, we'll let them, but we're probably not going to get into it with Greasus ourselves, though he does have a nice defeat trait, the trade thing. It would actually be nice on several of our lords to power up our trade capabilities. Either way, if that's not happening, let's ask the Imperial Wardens. You, we will join your war against Grimgor's Ardboys. Alternatively, we... I'm just wondering, would it be better to declare war with military allies, which would bring Karak Kadrin into it, rather than this? We're gaining reputation with the Cathians anyway, so it won't make much of a difference. Yeah, maybe we declare war directly then.
For the wisdom.
We'd like to be able to leave these guys to actually fight each other, so fine. Alright, Karl, you're gonna go into trenches, you're gonna declare war on Grimgor, call your allies to help, all of them will be happy about this, I'm sure. And then we'll also be attacking Saber Mountain next turn, and they've got an Arachnarok and 2 Giants. So, fairly nice defensive garrison, considering they don't have a defensive structure here. Lovely. So that'll be fun for Karl. I probably could have done something with Rupert here, but too late. And Nud will probably either head down to Zarnagrand or to Eagle Ares. Anyway, I think with that, we're out of time, and I'm going to call the episode. Next time we attack the Ogres and move towards the Greybeards. Then we start taking out the parts of Sartosa. We have lots of armies here, and we should be able to do it fairly quickly, without too much trouble, I imagine. All of these guys will be... Ow, I could have just auto-resolved that, my bad. Auto-resolve, thank you. Oh wow, really? The Huntsmen all got hurt? Okay, game. And there we go, that secures our province for us, and we need that Council of Burgomeisters anyway. Beautiful. And it looks like this faction's pretty much broken. They don't seem to have any armies remaining, so we will definitely take advantage of that. Destroy them, head for Skavenblight, destroy that, and then we'll be free to either turn, or probably both turn towards Arcan and towards the Bloody Hands here. And then in the north, there is still plenty of stuff to do. We need to send both Kurt and Gavin towards Albion here and destroy the Vanaheimlings and hopefully Bellacor's faction as well, though that'll be a fairly hard target. And aha, we've also sighted the Ecstatic Legions, which means we will have to work on them soon as well. I'm sure they'll be coming for us. Maybe Lewin can deal with them a little bit. We're also going to obviously move Boris back and start building up his army, which we're already doing with Recruiter, and we'll continue to do so. Anyway, lots more battles to come. The armies grow, the Empire endures, so stay tuned for more. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.